So, hi guys. Hi Jamie.
Hi.
Today we're going to be talking about advertising as usual with Everyday. But today I'm going to be introducing you guys to Jane Marshall. She's an account executive here in Paradise Advertising Marketing Agency. And today we're going to be talking a little bit more about her career, about everything related to advertising and all this stuff. And Jamie, to start off, like why advertising? How?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I got into yearbook in journalism, and I really enjoyed it. My senior year of high school, I was editor-in-chief of our yearbook, so I'd done a few like seminar things and workshops, and I really enjoyed the work I was doing, and so I decided that I wanted to go down the journalism path. My dad went to the University of Missouri, otherwise known as Mizzou, and they actually have one of the country's best journalism schools. So I followed in my dad's footsteps, and I went to the University of Missouri to do journalism. I wasn't exactly sure what branch, I guess, I wanted to go into. I looked at magazine for a bit. I thought about international journalism, but then I realized I didn't want to write for a living. I enjoy writing, but I mean, surviving in the journalism world is not the easiest nowadays. And so my emphasis was in strategic communications, otherwise known as advertising. So we worked between the journalism school and the business school to get all the skills and everything we needed.
That's awesome. That's cool. And still talking about college, like, do you think that you can say that you took something from the classroom to the workforce, like for real, all this stuff that we learn in classroom? Do you really use that in your daily life?
Yes,
yeah.
And I was actually kind of surprised, for some of the electives, not really, but core classes, core classes, absolutely. I mean, I learned how to do creative briefs in college, and you use those in real life, you use them a lot. So yeah, definitely, I took a lot of things from school that I can apply to my day-to-day.
That's awesome. That's good. And like similar to that, do you have any project that you remember from school that you're so proud of, that you look at it and was like, that's awesome?
Yeah, so at Mizzou, our senior capstone is actually working with a real-world client in the community. So I was the account executive on my team. We had a nonprofit client because I was really interested in working with nonprofits, and so we could kind of rank the industry we wanted to be in. And in that, it was a whole semester long. It was, doing actual account work. We didn't really have supervision from like a professor or anything because they wanted us to get the hands-on experience. So, I would meet with the client, creative briefs, and just seeing the process the whole way through before I even graduated was really neat. And they're actually implementing things that my team put forth for them, and so it's awesome to see that work for our capstone project is actually helping them in real life.
That's so great. That's awesome. And did you get the chance to have an internship before graduating?
I did a few before graduating, but upon graduation, instead of going directly into a job, I interned with VML. They're based out of Kansas City, but I interned at the Nashville office where I worked on Bridgestone, like Bridgestone tires, and the Tennessee Department of Tourism. So that's kind of how I got into tourism.
That's great. And what do you like the most about being an account executive?
I like that you get to touch so many different aspects of the industry. You're involved in the media side of things, the creative side of things, and you get to build that client relationship. I personally am a big fan of strategy and planning, and as a member of the account team, I get to do a lot of that, and so I find it so interesting to uncover insights and, just being able to understand consumers and why people do things the way they do and whatnot. So
I always call this the magic behind the scenes, because there's so much that we have to do in order to get the call for action that is like, for me, it's magic. So and on the other hand, is there any drawback in the industry that you think there's like
yes, ultimately, if anything goes wrong, it comes down to the account team. if someone in creative, if a copywriter is gone, you know, the account person might have to step in and be a copywriter. For media, if, you know, a media buyer is gone and, you know, it's something with media needs to happen really quickly, account teams will need to step in and either, you know, work with the rep to revise a buy or something like that. So you wear many hats at different times, which is definitely a positive in that you get experience in a lot of things, but it can be hard, but that's part of it.
It's part of the process, of course. And as I know that how important it is, like the relationship with the clients and everything for the account department, have you had any hard moment with like a client that you had to stop and think and just inhale and exhale to deal with?
Budgets are always an issue. So when a client is like, you know, I want this and I want it done by this time period, you kind of have to take a step back and instead of just being like, oh my gosh, well, that's impossible. You have to kind of make things work, or you have to be able to go to the client and be like, look, I know this is what you want, but, you know, strategically we don't recommend it and it really isn't in your budget. So it's kind of differentiating which tougher decision to try to make work.
Okay, yeah, you always have like to give the advice and try to work things out. Perfect. And a good question that I'm curious about in here, why it is important for the accounts department to visit the clients, like to visit the destinations?
So because we are a tourism-based agency and most of our clients are in like tourism or hospitality, I think you'd be doing a disservice to your clients if you weren't familiar with who they are. Whether it's an aquarium and visiting the aquarium and seeing the behind the scenes with all the research and seeing the work they really do, or a destination that you're trying to market for families to come vacation. You know, how can you properly do that if you've never actually been? So I think it's crucial, especially in our field, to make an effort to visit them.
Awesome, great. And Janie, I wish we could stay here the whole day talking.
Yes.
I really like it, I really enjoy it. But like to finalize it, which advice would you give to a student like us? There's like about to get to the workforce and
you know, you may think you're ready for the real world and ready for everything, you know, ready to be an account executive, ready to be, you know, account manager, whatever. Be patient. That's the advice that I had to learn the hard way. So yeah, just be patient and trust that whatever is happening, that it will all work out in the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that's it, guys. Thank you so much.